This time on Rad Rat Video, we're playing Tony Hawk's Skate Jam, which is a free-to-play mobile game. Oh, is it worse than Tony Hawk 5? Welcome back to Rad Rat Video, a channel where you can learn new things about skateboarding. Here I talk about all different kinds of things in the skateboarding world, from your favorite pros on retro rippers to new and old skateboarding games and all kinds of other stuff. Today we're talking about Tony Hawk's Skate Jam. So this is the first game that is not published by Activision, because that contract ended right after Tony Hawk 5 came out. They actually rushed that game to try to fit it within that contract and squeeze a couple last dollars out of it. That game is absolutely abysmal. You can watch a review of that right here. But this is the new one. This is not really a new game, though. I mean, kind of. It's based on the Skateboard Party series. There was a 1, 2, and 3 in that series. So this is sort of like the fourth one. It's got a new name, but apparently it shares some of the stage designs and stuff like that. So we'll take a look at that. After 4 games, you think it'd be pretty well dialed in, but it is on a mobile device. I'm playing on a tablet for a little while, then I play it on my computer. So we'll see how that works out. I will tell you about that real quick, though, before we dive into the game. So I was playing the game on my tablet, and it runs just fine, no problem at all. I was doing a screen capture as I did it, and then the screen capture file got so big that it clogged, like the SD card got too full, and it crashed my tablet, and it crashed it bad. Like, I couldn't, if I plugged it into my computer, it would like glitch out and go crazy. It freaked out when I tried to do that. So I finally got the files off, but they were corrupted. Just one of the beginning files managed to get saved, and it was okay. But I ended up trying to play the game on my computer. I have an Android emulator called BlueStacks on there, and you're able to download the game on there and play it. But I didn't recognize the controller anymore. You want to play with a controller on this game. So I had there's like a key mapper, so you can have, when you type keys, it'll push a spot on the screen, so I don't have to click it with my mouse, you know. So I did that, and then mapped a controller to those keys, which was a mess. It works okay. The only problem is every now and then a certain button combination, and I don't know what it is, will jump the game from full screen down to windowed or windowed to full screen. And if I ever do that, I would drop my recording. So like, no matter what I try to do to get this game recorded, something bad would happen. But was it worth it? Let's find out. Anyway, this game came out in 2018, but it's been updated a few times. The developers reached out to me to see if I wanted to access a new update early or something, but I don't like to do that kind of stuff. I want to be as unbiased as possible and have the exact same experience as you if you download it. On paper, this game seems pretty good. There are 15 levels with collectible stuff like Hawk letters, there's clocks that extend your time, high scores, combos, all stuff that feels at home in a Tony Hawk game. Throw a $10 to $20 price tag on it and I'm happy. But that doesn't really work with phone games, so it's free to play. And that, of course, sabotages the whole thing. You know how this stuff goes. You open up the game and you get a login bonus. There are timers for when you can enter the next contest or skate jam or whatever. There are pop-up ads trying to sell you better decks and outfits and things like that. You get bonuses for wearing the right clothes, so it's in your best interest to buy all this stuff, of course. You know, I used to play games like this fairly often. I would get into them too, until I realized that it's basically just a chore. You know, like you got to check in every 6 hours to claim the prize as soon as possible, to restart the timer so you can get as many as possible in a day, and you got to do this and you got to do that. And it's just work. I'm not actually enjoying playing a game. So if you are into that type of stuff, this game is definitely going to treat you a lot better than it did me. My plan was to just play through the levels like a traditional Tony Hawk game, but here's how that went. It starts with a tutorial, which seems to be unbeatable. So it's very simple in the beginning. You hold up to move, hit the ollie button to ollie, all that kind of stuff. With the controller setup, this is dead simple. But then you get to this one. Skate around the world and do tricks to gain points and fill your Hawk meter. So what did I do? I skated around and filled my Hawk meter. This meter shaped like a hawk is the Hawk meter, right? Does it matter that it was full already when the tutorial loads in? Because it just doesn't work. I couldn't get past this tutorial no matter how many times I tried. I had this problem on my tablet, and again when I restarted the game from the beginning on my computer. But for the most part, I was okay with how the game played. There are quite a few tricks to do, including the throwback vertical hard flips. I'm hoping that's a reference to the old Pro Skater games. The manuals didn't seem to work great though. I started hitting up, down, up, or down, up, down, and that seemed to work alright. If I was able to complete the tutorial, I would have learned that it's up, up, or down, down, which, if you think about it, kind of makes more sense on a touch screen when you can't feel the buttons. So that's fine. Let's play some levels. The first thing I noticed is that I lost most of my tricks. I'm sure I can buy them or unlock them at some point later on, but it really sucks because it gets repetitive just doing the same couple of tricks over and over. I also noticed that the graphics look pretty decent. They're not amazing by any means, but they get the job done. And I also noticed the weird routing. In the old Pro Skater games, the skate letters were always set up in a nice line. They might be far apart, they might be hard to get, but the S is always close to the beginning, and if you get the K, that's generally sending you in the right direction for where the A is. But I didn't get so lucky here. Skating around, I got AWK. I was missing the H. I finally found it, and I rushed, if you can count it rushing with that base speed stat going 2 miles an hour, rushed over to get it. I'm so close, I got plenty of time, and I ollie right over it. Or nollie, I guess. I don't even know how to do that on purpose. Wish that tutorial worked. But this kind of stuff happens all the time. Things are set up way too low, you ollie right over them, you fly over stuff a lot, or sometimes you're way too low. I don't know if that's an oversight, but part of me wonders if it's on purpose. Because every time you finish a level, you're hit with an ad, and an option to watch a second ad for bonus experience, and then a built-in ad for a board or outfit or whatever. So I kind of feel like they set things up a little bit bad just to maximize the amount of ads that you see, but that might be a tinfoil hat conspiracy level thing. But anyway, trying to get around these levels can be difficult. I don't know of a way to air out of transition. It seems like you just have to grind the coping, then ollie out if you don't want to be stuck in a bowl forever. You also tend to bounce off of things a lot and get stuck. This stuff actually made me motion sick. There's something about hitting left, expecting your character to go left, and then this happens. And seeing that instead really gets to me. Are you sure this is the 4th game in the engine? Because it really doesn't feel like it. The best part about the Tony Hawk engine back in the day was how reliable it was. If you watch speedrunners and stuff, yeah, they figured out some crazy glitches, but a casual player basically couldn't break the game. It played consistently. If you bailed, you could be about 99% sure that it was your fault. And that's not really the case here. You can bail for all kinds of reasons. When you get into a grind, sometimes your balance is really good. Sometimes it's right on the edge of bailing. Is this based on the angle you approached or maybe your speed or something like that? I don't think so. It seems random. And so the longer your combo is, the more likely you're going to land in a bad balance and just immediately bail. And combos tend to be relatively short anyway because it's hard to consistently land in a manual even with a controller. But you really need long combos to get some of the high scores later on in the game. And sometimes you land a combo, try another trick and then bail, and you lose the combo that you already landed. What? Come on. Look, the manual was over, the balance meter is gone, and then I bailed on the next air, and I lost 50,000 points. And so this is basically what you do. Ride around, get high scores, collect letters, and every now and then you do some level-specific skateboarding goal, like doing an invert on a quarter pipe or something like that. And the level design is pretty good. The areas are relatively big. There's a lot to grind on without it getting too cluttered. There are no wall rides in the game, so there isn't a lot of verticality to the levels, but they have different designs, like a dock, a college, a warehouse, all kinds of other things. But the problem with them is getting around, because your character's speed stat starts off really, really slow, and there isn't much you could do about it. In the old games, there was always some kind of shortcut. There was like a weird corkscrew rail that got you going really fast and spit you out in another part of the level, something like that. But here, it's all flat, and you just kind of cruise over to the next area. So that takes a little bit of the fun and the creativity and strategy out of collecting stuff. You just kind of roll around and do it. Some of the levels mix things up and have collectible timers, and I like this idea. It's not just that same 2-minute run over and over and over. It's a change of pace, and they don't overuse it. Of course, there is a catch. It's that these clocks are really hard to collect. They give you 10 seconds, so in theory, if it takes less than 10 seconds to get it, you come out ahead. But check this first timer level out. I missed this one over the taxi pretty much every time for various reasons, but the ones down by the escalators are worse. It's so easy to get stuck in here. You have to go up, grab it, then come down and go up a different escalator, but I just keep bouncing off of stuff. This time I finally got that one, and I just have to grind through here to keep going. Oh, of course, I ollie right over it. Now I just have to watch an ad before I can start over. Okay, I caught up and I'm back to where I was. Now I just have to face the final boss, a quarter pipe. The physics on these just doesn't work very well. I didn't even bother. Luckily, I had enough time anyway to finish off the Hawk letters, except, guess what? I just can't collect this letter. At this point, I'm pretty much already done with the game because there's no reason to play it unless it's better than what's come before or it's different, right? It's not going to be better than Tony Hawk 3 or 4. It's not going to be better than Skate 3. You know, it's got to do something new and different. And I'm just not getting that here. You know, you can play some of the old Tony Hawk games on an emulator on your tablet if you want to do that. I can play Skate on my Xbox if I want to do that. I can play Session on my computer. There's really no purpose of me playing this game and just going through all this extra work. But let's not quit quite yet. After I finished that stage, I got a level up and some stats. I don't know what the level ups are for. I think it's maybe help you qualify for jams or whatever. But for the stats, I added in a lot of balance, which seems sorely needed, but I should have saved a little bit for a spin because the game is going to ask me to do a 540, and I can't quite do that at the moment. But you finish off each of these worlds with a tournament, and these are actually really hard. Do you want to know why they're hard? It's because you can buy boosts that gives you extra time, stuff like that. So it's not in their best interest to make these easy to beat. I didn't use any of these boosts on principle though, because I hate this kind of stuff. Entering these tournaments costs in-game money, so you can't just keep retrying it either. With my controller setup, I was able to do okay, but I can't imagine how hard this would be if you're only on the touchscreen. After the tournament, I'm offered all of these boards that are for sale. Some of them cost $50,000 in-game. I have just under $9,000, even though I've been completing every challenge as I go. But that's okay, because you can buy a deck for $20 real as well. Seriously? You can almost buy an actual blank shop deck for around that much. That's rough. The next level is this beach dock area. It's a pretty good level. It was actually hard to get all the Hawk icons in one run, so I had a minor rush when I was closing in on the last one after a handful of attempts. It's just a little cheap, of course. So you go down this boardwalk, you can get a couple of them down there, then you have to slowly roll your way back out. Being able to collect these, then ollie off the end would help keep the pace going, but as it is, it's really tight timing, and you can't afford to bail once or miss an icon. Okay, what I meant is just do a clean run without... Line yourself up just right and... Oh, come on, what the... Okay, get that clean, come back over here, grab the icon... So the next level is an indoor-outdoor warehouse skate park level, which I like. And there's a good skate challenge here. Do a heel flip no slide. So I figured I'd knock that one out. Here's a heel flip no slide. And another one. And another one. It's not counting. Do you see the problem yet? Well, the game thinks that this is a tail slide. Just look at this screenshot, okay? Ignore what stance I'm in. Ignore which kick tail I landed on or anything like that. Just look at this screenshot. In what world is this a tail slide? He's looking over the wrong shoulder, obviously. I'm glad they have Tony Hawk on board here who's actually contributing to these games and making sure they make sense. Anyway, after a few rounds of this, I figured out you have to do a backside no slide. After that, the next big thing was trying to get the high score. This level has a huge one, and so it took a long time. A lot of times I would get really close, then I would get unlucky with the random balance stuff, or I would get caught in a bouncing loop. Or I would get a combo going, land it, but it counts as a bail, and then I crash into an invisible floor in the middle of the air. Okay, just one more level. I'm just going to do one more. The last level I got to is this long downhill level. It's got timers, but since it's so directional, you don't have to worry with coming up with a route. It's all pretty straightforward if you want to find the Hawk letters and all that stuff. I had taken a break from this game for about a month to finish up some other projects, and this was the first thing I played when I came back. So sure, I bounce around on some stuff, and my recording keeps dropping from that full screen thing, but it goes fine. I'm starting to wonder why I was so annoyed with the game before. I beat this level without much to complain about, and then I went on to the tournament. So again, you have to beat a tournament at the end of each world to unlock the next one. And guess what? I don't have enough fans. What does that even mean? I don't know, but I had 6,300 and I needed 9,000. How do you get fans? Well, I think you know how you get fans, by doing jams and completing daily quests, stuff like that. I decided to do at least one jam just to check it out, see if it would be enough to get me to continue playing the game. It's basically the same thing as a tournament, including the bonus cheats that you can add on. And I'm playing against fake players. There's no way these people are real because there is no waiting lobby or countdown or anything like that. Maybe these are pre-recorded runs from other people's actual gameplay. I don't know. I doubt it. But I killed it and I got first place because I'm amazing. And this gave me 800 fans. That wasn't enough. There are more jams, but there are different entry fees, like either cash or coins, or of course, real money, which is what this Skate Jam Pass is. I just didn't want to deal with that. These jams refresh every 4 hours or whatever, and I'm sure I could do another one and it'd be okay, but also after I beat that first one I did, it graduated me to the next level. And since I beat that first one real easy, I think it's maybe one of those things where they give you a taste that's really easy and then it gets super hard so that you want to buy stuff. And I just really don't want to deal with that. I think I've played enough to get the point of what the game is like and to be able to show you a reasonable amount of it so you can make your own decision. So I'm going to call it there. But the question I asked in the beginning is this worse than Tony Hawk 5? And I had to go back and forth on it because it's a little more complicated than better or worse. So like Tony Hawk 5, there's a lot more depth to the gameplay. There's a lot more tricks, like a lot more tricks. There's, wall rides and there's reverts and there's all that other stuff that's built into those games. Tons of special tricks and, whatever. But it also was designed to be a cash grab by people who hate you. Like when you play that game, you just feel disrespected because it's just really bad and they didn't care. Right? Now, Skate Jam is there's not as much going on. The gameplay doesn't feel as good as Pro Skater 5, which I know that game has a lot of glitches and stuff, but it mostly works. This one just feels like a mobile game. It feels like something that's really budget and cheap and wasn't really refined, But I don't hate the people who made it, and I don't feel like they hate me. I get how the economics of making apps and games on mobile works. You can't make a game and sell it for $60. It's not going to happen. No one's going to buy it. You can cut that down. Maybe you get to $5 and people start to buy it. But the way that people will actually make money and stay employed at their job of making games is to have it for free, sell ad-free mode, sell decks, sell coins and timer refreshes and all that kind of stuff. That's just how it works. And I'm not mad at these people for making the game this way. It's fine. It's just not for me. So, if I had to choose one of these games, I would probably pick Skate Jam because that feeling of being disrespected and hated by Activision when you play Tony Hawk 5, that's a little too much for me. So this game is not as bad as that because it's not coming from that depth of evil, but still, it doesn't have much there for me. If you liked what you saw, it's free. Go ahead and give it a shot. If you're jonesing for some more skateboard gaming content, you're sick of True Skate or whatever, go ahead and give it a try. There's also a game called Skateboard City, I believe, which is not on Android, so I won't be able to play that one. It looks good. I'm hearing good things about it, so you might want to check that one out too, or instead. I don't know. But that's it for now. If you liked what you saw, make sure you subscribe and like the video so this gets out there a little bit more. I'm going to be playing lots of more terrible skateboarding games in the future. because that's what I do. So subscribe so you don't miss more of my misery and sadness. But until more misery and sadness comes out, here's some more videos in the sidebar you might want to check out, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.